Good morning. I'm Professor Andrew Deeks, President of University College Dublin. On behalf of my fellow faculty and staff, I wish to extend a warm welcome to this virtual conferring, especially to our students, your families and friends, and your supporters far and wide. I'm delighted to be joined by the Principal of the UCD College of Business, Professor Tony Brabazon, and by the Associate Dean of Business, Associate Professor Maeve Houlihan. This is a meeting of the University gathered for the conferring of degrees. A quorum is present, and I now call upon Associate Professor Houlihan to commence the proceedings.
Thank you, President. On behalf of my colleagues at the UCD Lochlann Quinn School of Business, I would like to reiterate the President's warm welcome to you, the graduating class of 2021, and your family and friends. It is our absolute privilege to join you in celebrating this graduation today. The occasion of conferring of degrees at UCD is a special day for all of us. It's a moment to look back and to celebrate and acknowledge the academic achievements, the talent, the hard work that has brought you to this place. And it is the time to recognise more than ever the determination that has seen you through the challenge of the last 18 months. It's especially time to think of the friendships that you have built and the friends and family that have walked this road with you together. Generations of graduates associate these things with O'Reilly Hall. And while today we once again find ourselves doing things a little bit differently, we hope it is no less proud and special a day for you. You emerge now into a world that is changed, and I know that you will play your part, and indeed already are, in helping the world innovate and build back better. On behalf of my colleagues, all the faculty and staff who have guided you throughout your studies, I want to congratulate each and every one of you. Cogorgeous Galer. Before we commence, I will explain the procedure that we will follow. The candidates on whom degrees are to be conferred are graduands, that is, they have fulfilled the requirements and are proceeding to their degrees. The Principal of the College of Business, Professor Tony Brabazon, will present the graduands for their degrees. In response to this presentation, the President, Professor Andrew Deeks, will confer the degrees. The candidates have then become graduates. Professor Brabazon will read in Latin and the President will respond in Latin to him. I will then call the names of our new graduates. The Honours Degree of Bachelor of Commerce.
Pre honoribus praesates totate universitas. Presento vos cas meos filius filiosque meos, quos omnis iotam maribus, quamda totina habiles et idiones esse qui admittantur ad gradum baccalaureatus mercante honora curso confecto, idi tibi fea mea testor expondeo totate academicae.
Ego auctoritate mihi concessa, mittervo ad gradum baccalaureatus mercature honora curso confecto.
Thank you both.
Olawashian Aziz, Rachel Bacon, Fiona Bagnall, Owen Barr, Amy Jennifer Barrett, Alison Berkery, Shane Birmingham, Lucy Bradley, Bethany Braham, Sarah Brennan, Joe Broderick, Connor Byrne, Emma Jane Byrne, Frank Byrne, Lucy Ann Byrne, Sean Michael Byrne, Mark Burns, Alison Caffery, Brian Carr, Christian Casey, Patrick William Michael Cassidy, Evan Caulfield, Alexi Chaplin, Ryan William Christian, Shiyun Chu, Kieran Clancy, Stephanie Clavin, Ruth Elizabeth Clifford, Isabel Coleman, Sinead Commons, Owen Connaty, Andy Connellan, John Connolly, Kate Mary Conway, Ronan Conway, Cayman Patrick James Corcoran, Brian Coronella, Liam Coyle, Aisling Crowe, Robert Crowley, Charlie Crown, Sarah Cullinan, John Curran, Kaylee Curtis, Stephen Dadua, Eric Dalby, Kate Danaher, Cian de Burka, Max Deegan, Laura Dignan, Tamara Jane Dempsey, Rebecca Desmond, Cara Devlin, Andreas Thomas Dorhus, Mark Dolan, Owen Donnelly, Mark Donnelly, Ryan Donnelly, Kate Douglas, Kiva Dowdall, Kieran Martin Doyle, Grace Duffusy, Jack Alexander Duffy, Amy Dunn, Katie Dunn, Christopher Egan, Faye El Mandani, Yingya Fang, Aoife Farrell, Dermot Farrell, Tom Fearick, Rastrel Joy Felipe, Simona Danielle Fernandez, Patrick Flaherty, Alexis Flavin, Tara Flynn, Emer Foley, Owen Foley, Dara Forrester, Brian Andrew Foy, Adam James Freely, Matthew Fury, Patrick Gantley, Grania Evelyn Garrigan, Rhiannon Gilvary, Louisa Godfrey, Cara Godsell, Sean Matthew Goodburn, Muireann Griffin, Donal Groom, Ross Hackett, Connor John Hammond, Colm John Harnett, Aisling Ellen Hart, Jonathan Hayden, Ronan Hayes, Georgia Mary Heaney, David Heavey, Alice Hennelly, Rory Hennessy, Claire Higgins, Owen Gerard Hochter, Yishi Hong, Sean Holmes, Barry Hudson, James Hughes, Maxwell Hughes,
Mary Olateju Ifiolu Ishabi,
Lydia Rose Johnson, Ellen Jordan, Owen Joyce, Heather Joyce, Stephen Morris Judge, Lucas Kaminsky, Timothy K. Meller, Emily Keane, Christopher Thomas Keane, Leo Keeney, Owen Keegan, Jack Keelahan, Natalia Kellerman, Cathal Kelleher, Hugh Ian Kelly, Sarah Claire Kelly, Owen James Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, Aoife Kenny, Matthew Kenny, Mia Jane Kenny, Laura Kieran, Ravsham Kamdamov, Megan Kirk, Shona Latish, Donna Joseph Leahy, Rainis Lamus, Ronan Levins, Chawan Lee, Chian Chong Lee, Chinyu Lee, Samuel Lindberg, Shu Chao Liu, Xiong Hu Yu, Daria Lazova, Kian Lynch, Craig Lynch, Dervla Lynch, Dervla Lynch, Khalid Bakri Mbasha, Brian McMahon, Enda Noel McNamara, Peter Maher, Joshua Ryan Mansfield, Aoife Martin, Michael Andrew McCardle, Joseph McCabe, Kevin McCabe, Callum McClintock, Rory Kevin McCormick, Alana McDevitt, Michelle MacDonald, Jack McDowell, Luke McDwyer, Maeve McElry, Ross Gerard McGarry, Anya McGee, Eric McKay, Rory McKeown, Laura McMahon, Laura Kate McPeak, Eve McShane, Joseph McWeeny, Rachel Meehan, Patrick Mitchell, David Malloy, Killian Maloney Kavanagh, Sarah Minori, David Patrick Moran, Nokwazi Moyo, Stephen Mulcair, Connor Mulholland, Cian Mullen, Rachel Mulligan, Stephen John Mulvaney, Hamish Munro, Patrick Merchant, Anya Murphy, Charles Murphy, Connor Sylvester Murphy, Dara Murphy, John Murphy, Sinead Murphy, Sean Murray, Cathal John Murta, Jonathan Nally, Petra Neumanova, Kate Nolan, Anya O'Brien, Michael Eugene O'Brien, Kyle O'Byrne, Daniel Patrick O'Callaghan, Fionn O'Ceallaigh, Naoise O'Conloon, Adam O'Connell, Liam O'Connell, Daniel O'Connor, David O'Connor, Maeve O'Donoghue, Maria Erin O'Hurley, John O'Keane, Alison Jane O'Leary, Megan O'Leary, Jennifer O'Malley, Ronan O'Mara, Hannah Rachel O'Neill, Brian Patrick O'Reilly, Miles James O'Reilly, Alva Marie O'Rourke, Patrick Patterson, Orna Phelan, Michael Power, Huelen Chu, Ryan Queerney, Mark Quinn, Alison Ray, Samuel Reynolds, Donal Ring, Amy Christina Roach, Michael J. Roach, Owen Rooney, Juliet Rooson, Quiva Ryan, Jake Ryan, Michael Ryan, Manur Saad, Matthew David Sharkey, Kieran Sheehy, Doreen Mairead Sheridan, Glenn Sarahan, Shireen Spencer, David Spillane, Yue Su, Gareth Sullivan Kelly, Donal Sweeney, James Sweeney, Olivia Taylor, Ella Therues, Meng T, Andrew Timlin, Sam Totterdell, Aveen Tracy, Aurelia Dumitra Vasile. Benjamin Robert Walker. Peter Dara Walsh. Sean Walsh. Jira Wang. Zi Chen Wang. Stephen Hooley. Quiva Williams. Connor Young. Rob Young. Meiichi Zhu.
This concludes the conferring of degrees. It is my great pleasure to welcome the 2020 UCD Alumni Awardee in Business, Mark Pollock, to address you. As an athlete, explorer, author, everything Mark does is about inspiring people, including himself, to build resilience, to adapt, and to achieve more than sometimes seems possible. Unbroken by blindness in 1998, Mark went on to become the first blind person to race to the South Pole. Then, after a catastrophic spinal cord injury, Mark is now on a new exploration, exploring the intersection between technology and humans. His books and documentaries have given him an important, empathic and compelling voice in the world and on world stages, including TED, Davos, and today, our graduating class of 2021.
Sometimes we choose our challenges, and sometimes challenges choose us. What we decide to do about them, that's what counts. And I'm going to focus on two decision themes. One is whether we decide to be spectators or competitors, and the second, whether we decide to be soloists or collaborators. And before I do that, I want to say well done as you graduate in 2021. My name's Mark Pollock, and I was in Smurfit back in the early 2000s. But let me go back to this point, whether we decide to be spectators or competitors. When I was doing my undergraduate, I could see and I could walk. I was studying for a business studies and economics degree, just about to graduate and go off and get a job in investment banking. And more than that, I was a sportsman, rowing for the university and also for Ireland. I knew exactly who I was and exactly where I was going. And rapidly, in the space of 2 weeks, that changed entirely. I lost my sight and I was no longer involved in university life. I didn't think I'd get a job. I was no longer involved in my crew. In the space of 2 weeks, I not only lost my sight, but I lost my identity. I felt like I was going to have to sit on the sidelines as a reluctant spectator. And over the following 10 years, I became an athlete again, winning silver and bronze medals at the Commonwealth Games, becoming an adventure athlete, and then eventually racing over 43 days in an expedition race to the South Pole, rebuilding my identity as a competitor. And for those 10 years, I felt that being determined enough to being a competitor was what it was all about. A year after getting back from the South Pole, I fell from a second-story window onto the concrete below and broke my back. And it's that experience that revealed that in fact being a collaborator is perhaps even more important. As I lay in hospital for 16 months, I discovered that spinal cord injury strikes at the very heart of what it means to be human. It turned me from my upright running, jumping, cross-country skiing form into a seated compromise of myself. And as I lay there, I found it strange that up to this point in history it had proven to be impossible to find any kind of a cure. Yet we know that history is filled with accounts of the impossible made possible through human endeavour. The kind of human endeavour that took polar explorers to the South Pole at the start of the last century. The kind of human endeavour that will take a new wave of adventurers and explorers to Mars in the early part of this century. So I started asking myself, well, why can't that same human endeavour cure paralysis in our lifetime? And thankfully, based on some of the people that we have started to work with, we found that perhaps it could. People working in robotics at Exobionics in San Francisco, electrical stimulation at UCLA in Los Angeles. And over the last number of years, we've brought those people together to help them collaborate to achieve more. I've walked over 1.5 million steps in my robot. I could voluntarily move my legs with the electrical stimulation. And we created collaborations worth €15 million to help us on that endeavour to cure paralysis. But despite working with world-class competitors, it was the lack of collaboration that concerned me. And as I reflect on the South Pole race and the stories that inspired me to go there, despite the personalities like Shackleton, Scott and Amundsen that were involved, it was never a story of individual leaders, individual heroes. It was always a story about collaboration. And now as I reflect on the work we're doing to cure paralysis in our lifetime, it's very clear that no individual scientist or technologist or philanthropist or investor is going to cure that problem on their own. It's going to be, again, a story of people working together to achieve more. So, as you graduate in 2021, perhaps it's worth reflecting on this idea of whether we decide to be competitors or whether we decide to be collaborators. And I'll remind you of what I said in the beginning. Sometimes we have the luxury of choosing our challenges, and sometimes challenges choose us. What we decide to do about it, that's what counts. And I would suggest that you remain determined to compete, but perhaps more importantly, you become brave enough to collaborate. Well done, and thank you.
My warmest thanks to Mark for those inspirational words. It is now my pleasure to introduce your Academic Director, Dr. Julie Byrne.
To the graduating class of 2021, it is a privilege to have been asked to address you one final time. As it is not possible to celebrate in person, I would firstly like to extend my warmest congratulations to each and every one of you. I think back to 3 and 4 years ago when you all congregated for the famous Commerce Breakfast, looking a little overwhelmed and uncertain, reluctant to speak. None of us could have predicted how the subsequent few years would unfold. While graduating from your undergraduate degree is always an amazing achievement, it seems even more so given the unprecedented and unpredictable circumstances we found ourselves in, particularly during the latter stages of your studies. As most of you are aware, I like things planned, organised, ordered, so I'm acutely aware of how difficult the sudden transition to virtual learning environment, as well as the loss of social activities and in-person meeting with friends turned out to be. However, as usual, you exceed all expectations and have proven yourselves to be incredibly resilient, adaptable and focused, something that will stand to you as you move on and progress with your careers. You are graduating in a time of great uncertainty, but as I taught you in finance class, in times of great uncertainty, wonderful opportunities present themselves. The current global pandemic has changed the way things work forever, and we are also facing into a critical time period in global efforts to mitigate the effects of climate change. Sustainability and transition to zero net carbon will be a central consideration for businesses moving forward, and who better to lead that charge than all of you who have already proven yourselves to be so adaptable and socially conscious. You have the opportunity to lead the way, something I have no doubt you will do. One piece of advice I would like you to take with you is that it's perfectly okay to be yourself and pursue your own dreams and goals. It's okay to stand out and to be unique. As the wonderful Oscar Wilde remarked, be yourself, everyone else is already taken. Sometimes we all forget that. Whether you decide to further your studies Pursue your chosen career or travel. I wish each and every one of you every success in whatever direction life takes you. You absolutely deserve it. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you all at Quinn, and whenever it is possible for you to do so, please feel free to stop by and say hello. Many congratulations once again to all of you.
Thank you, Julie. I'm now delighted to introduce some of your peers to address you. We begin with Mary Ishabi.
Ekabo, Falcha, and welcome to the graduating class of 2021 and their families to this long-awaited day at UCD. If I could sum up this year with one word, it would be perseverance. Walter Elliott describes perseverance as not a long race, but many short races, one after the other. We, the class of 2021, have displayed incredible tenacity. We've had to adapt to online learning and breakout rooms, but we still made it. Some of us dealt with feelings of frustrations and at times lacked motivation, but we still made it. Sometimes we had to conquer shortcomings and difficulties, but we still made it. Despite everything, we are still here today. If we can persevere through this, we can persevere through anything. Being here today wouldn't have been possible without the support of the best faculty in UCD. Having faculty members like Niall Hayes and Dr. Julie Byrne, who have been pillars of academic support, our student advisor, Jacqueline Levine, who's always there to guide us, and Dr. Maeve Houlihan, who continues to ensure the academic excellence of our Quinn School. We have also gained new perspectives through different programs and experiences organized by Quinn legends like Claire Kingston, Esther Sands, and Mita Dutt. We also express our sincere gratitude to our lecturers and tutors who are the core reason for us graduating here today. There are too many great lecturers and tutors to name, but we remember the late Professor Eamon Walsh and his dynamic classrooms. His passion for teaching will never be forgotten. I would like to bring you all back to the first day you walked into the Quinn School of Business. Coming from the trenches of the Leaving Cert, we thought we had seen it all. We were so wrong. We have struggled with Excel sheets. We've maneuvered our ways through MCQs. We spent days memorizing group presentations to perfection and nights huddled over countless essays in the study rooms. Some of us were even questioning our lefts and our rights when it came to double entry accounting. Throughout all of this, we have been fortunate enough to create lifelong friendships that enabled us to realize that when surrounded with the right people, things don't always seem half bad. For me, this is summed up by the African philosophy, Ubuntu. I am because we are. A person is a person through other people. I hope we enjoy the feelings of togetherness, achievement, and celebration that this day brings. Congratulations to everyone once again. We did it!
Thank you, Mary. I now welcome Gareth Sullivan Kelly.
Good morning, fellow graduates, faculty members, family and friends. I'm delighted to have been asked to share a few words with everyone on our graduation day. Like most of you, the beginning of my commerce degree was absolutely terrifying. Having entered a course, not knowing anyone, I felt way out of my depth and questioned if this was the correct choice. As the year progressed, delving into societies and clubs, I was able to create friendships with people that to this day I'd still call some of my closest friends. Like many of you, I built friendships slowly over the course of our college experience. Those who you could complete assignments together with, chat during tutorials, those who may be able to help better explain things to you, those who are willing to sit in Quinn until 10 p.m. the night before an assignment as you both left to the last minute, and those who you could spend hours with cramming for that all-important accounting exam. I appreciate every single encounter I had with my fellow classmates, lecturers and supervisors that enriched my learning experience that was university and gave me an incredible journey throughout. On behalf of the class, I'd like to express my appreciation to the UCD Quinn School of Business staff who've given us the lifelong skills that are required to help us to be able to navigate the business world and our future careers. From Eamon Walsh teaching us about the history of accounting, to Niamh Brennan and the significance of double entry, or Kieran Heavey and the business management simulation. These were just some of the lessons that we'll never be able to forget. While there are too many to thank, I will mention just a few. Maeve Houlihan, Julie Byrne and Niall Hayes, who've created the course that will help us with our future careers. All those behind the scenes who many of us would have interacted with, such as Jacqueline Levine, Claire Kingston and Esther Sands. Finally, our lecturers, tutors and everyone else who's been hard at work to make sure we continue to engage with our course, even at times when we did not want to put the effort in. So a huge thank you to all of them for their hard work over the past few years. Reminiscing on our first day at UCD as we began our orientation day in O'Reilly Hall, we expected to end our university journey in the same seats. However, it is with great disappointment that we cannot be conferred in the O'Reilly Hall as every year before us has been. This pandemic has created uncertainty, but we know this will not last forever. We must take risks while we have the energy and time to take them. Walt Disney once said, "It is good to have a failure while you're young because it teaches you so much. And once you've lived through the worst, you're never quite as vulnerable afterward." So after all the skills we have learned throughout our time together, do not be afraid to take some risks. 20 years from now, you'll not be disappointed by the risks you took, you'll be disappointed the ones that you didn't. To everyone, I'm sorry for having to include a cliche quote, but given the event, I just couldn't resist myself. I look forward to seeing what the class of 2021 can achieve with the risks that they take. A sincere congratulations to everyone today. I hope everyone enjoys their day today, no matter where you are, as it's well deserved after what has truly been a unique college experience.
Thank you, Gareth. We hope that your college years have changed you and grown your confidence, your skills and your ambition to shape the world, as you surely will. Bring your curiosity, your willingness to do the research and ask the questions. Bring your difference, bring your kindness, and most of all, bring yourself. We're proud of you and we'll be cheering for you. Gnairi an bóthar live. I now call on Professor Andrew Deeks to make his closing address. Congratulations and enjoy the rest of this very special day.
As President of UCD, I take great pleasure and pride in extending my personal congratulations to each one of you who has graduated today. My thanks to our guest and student speakers for their inspirational words to you. This has been another year of extraordinary challenge as the world continues to deal with the impact of COVID-19. I am, however, greatly heartened by how we as a community here at UCD have responded to the crisis with creativity and innovation and with courage and compassion. It is in these most testing of circumstances that we truly show what we are made of, individually and collectively. In facing the demands placed on us, we are discovering new depths to our resourcefulness and resilience. As Ireland's global university, UCD has played and continues to play a vital role in shaping our response to the pandemic nationally and globally, both culturally and scientifically. I'm proud to see how our brightest minds are rising to the challenge across all academic disciplines, from medicine, science and engineering to the arts and humanities. All around me, members of our UCD community have stepped up with courage and vision to meet the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, and their actions continue to underscore the vital importance of education, research and evidence-based decision-making in transforming our society. Conferring ceremonies are very special days in the calendar of the university, both for our students and for our faculty and staff, marking the culmination of years of study and hard work by you, our graduates, and of the teaching and guidance by our faculty and staff. Following your graduation, you will operate in a changed world, one where your skills are in keen demand, your energy and passion are needed, and one that will warmly welcome your expertise. Here at UCD, we have almost 8,000 international students joining us from over 145 countries, adding enormously to the diversity and quality of campus life and to the UCD educational experience. We bring the best of the world to Ireland and the best of Ireland to the world. And so it's a particular pleasure for me to extend an Irish welcome to the families and friends of our international students who are joining us online today. Céad Míle Fáilte, Roíomh Go Léir, 100,000 welcomes to you all. Our mission is to give each of you a holistic education, to inculcate in you a lifelong desire to learn and to create, and to instill in you a sense of purpose, a capacity for critical thinking, a desire to make a difference in society, and above all, an awareness of the global community in which you can make an impact. And I hope that today, as you join or rejoin the proud community of UCD graduates, you will embrace these attributes and take them with you as you embark on the next stage of your life journey. While you were students, you were at the centre of the UCD community, and as you graduate, you carry that UCD badge with you. Wear it well, use it to open doors to advance your own life's ambitions, but also extend a helping hand to those who come after you. Seek to inspire and encourage them, and above all, follow our motto, Ad Astra, to the stars, by seeking to make your own mark and your own contribution to our society. You are now a member of a very proud UCD alumni group of almost 300,000 based in 170 countries worldwide. And so, wherever your career takes you, I hope that whenever you wear the UCD crest or colours, you will remember your alma mater. I trust that in everything you do and achieve in the future, the values enshrined in UCD of creativity, excellence, integrity, collegiality, engagement and diversity will remain part of your intellectual DNA. I'm very encouraged by the government's reopening plan for the autumn, by the lower infection rate, decrease in hospital admissions and the collapse in the mortality rate, and by the pace and efficiency of the national vaccination rollout. Here at UCD, we will continue to follow the government's advice and guidelines, looking forward to a smooth return to campus as soon as it's possible, and keeping everyone's health and safety at the forefront of our minds. I wish you well as you embark on your careers. Take care of yourselves and your families, and take heart in the hope that we will come together again soon at the end of this journey, stronger and more united than ever. Congratulations once again. Enjoy the rest of this very special day.